So this video will probably end up being entitled something like, "Do Catholics believe that we become gods, like the Mormons," or something like that. So this is a tremendously misunderstood issue, and it's actually not precisely defined in terms of even Catholic belief or Catholic doctrine what this concept of partaking in God's divine nature or using the traditional formula of being divinized even means. So here we have St. Thomas Aquinas quoted in the Church's liturgical prayer, and he makes this famous statement. One of the Church's great teachers, St. Thomas Aquinas: "Since it was the will of God's only begotten Son that men should share in his divinity, he assumed our nature in order that by becoming man, he might make men gods. Moreover, when he took our flesh, he dedicated the whole of its substance to our salvation." And then he goes on to talk about the sacrament of Holy Communion. But what are we getting at here? That has become a very traditional phrase. It was something Thomas picked up from earlier authors, from earlier thinkers, like Augustine of Hippo and the other church fathers. So this refers to the Catholic and Orthodox concept of divinization, but what does it mean? Well, it certainly doesn't mean the same thing that it means in Mormonism, that people become kind of Greek gods and they take on their own supernatural powers and abilities to govern their own realms. It's very sci-fi in Mormonism. But this powerful concept, actually, we can't consider it something where we actually take on the same substance or nature as God, or the prerogatives of God, because that would be semi-pagan. Christianity, after all, is not about gaining power and setting yourself up against God or God's rights to make decisions. It's not about becoming independent of God. Instead, what we're talking about here when we're talking about how Jesus' descent and coming down to us enables us to rise up to him is that humanity will reach in him a newer and fuller perfection. It refers first and foremost, and I know this can be controversial because not even Catholic and Orthodox thinkers agree, but first and foremost, we all agree that this is about becoming like God in the sense of being conformed to God's image and likeness. So Jesus Christ restores people to their own soundness, to their own health as images of God, and helps them become like himself, and therefore like God the Father and the Holy Spirit. This is what's known in patristic theology as healing. The whole process of Christian life is thought of in terms of healing and restoration. And the second point is really important, I think, as we go forward. Divinization points us, it can only be understood in light of the resurrection. So think about 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and the gospel stories about Jesus' resurrection. And he has powers that he didn't normally have in his natural body as man when he was there walking the earth the first time. Even beyond what we were once created to be at the beginning of time, we're called to become something unprecedentedly great, something strengthened with unbelievable supernatural and preternatural powers. So this is what St. Paul is attempting to communicate to us when he gives his great discourse on the resurrection body, or the spiritual or spirit-like body. It has incredible powers and a transformed substance. It will truly be raised powerful, as Paul says, even though this current body is sown weak. And yet it's not a new type of thing that's totally disconnected from the form and the design of our earthly body. So I just wanted to take a moment to explain that very briefly. I don't have time to make long videos, but I did want to bring that up because many people, including members of my own family who come from other Christian traditions, are really bothered by this when they read it in the Catechism, for instance. They're really bothered by this phrase about how Jesus became man so that we might become gods or sons of God. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.